drugs to the gas for the weed. Yeah. Keeping on back for the legs, say song. Never tell a fact that I never stay running.
Hey, bro. We're on. We're rolling.
How we doing, boys?
Good, man. Episode 3. Hopefully, we can release the video of this one.
Yeah, we're hoping to get
But we won't be lit up.
chopped and stitched up. Yeah. I forgot the lights today.
It's so good, bro.
I was looking at my bag, I was going through it, and I was just looking at every item. I was like, I've got everything except the massive big bag full of lights.
So that lion's mane mushroom, is that doing the trick yet or what?
I had a late night. Not even the lion's mane.
You did actually say it's doing good though, didn't you?
Yeah. It's. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say it's fucking completely transformed me because it's only been 3 weeks, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. But it does say that it takes at least a month for you to start feeling the effects. But what I will say is, I do feel more focused. I can lock into a particular thought, whereas before, I mean, I still do this now. That's what I'm saying. It's not completely
No, it ain't overnight
cured.
pill, is it?
No.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, I can definitely zero in on things a lot more now. Whereas before, where normally I would be ping, but I'm like, my mind's like a ping pong ball.
Right.
It bounces from one thing to the other. And, you know, when you have conversations with people, I tend to, they only have to say one word and then the association game starts.
Your thought process just goes off somewhere else.
Yeah, like someone might, he might say Bolt at work. Okay, Usain Bolt, Jamaica.
Yeah.
Fucking
Chicken.
Bob Marley.
Jerk chicken.
Jerk chicken.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm standing there looking at this person.
Then you get hungry.
Yeah.
Just start thinking about lunch.
Then they're like, Luke, pass the bolt, bro. You're just there with your stomach rumbling.
Oh, it's such a burden. It really is. It always has been. You know, everyone does it, but some people, like myself.
That's exactly what I
How does it feel when you snap back into what you're supposed to have focused on? And I'm not talking about
There's
like
a panic.
You weren't listening to me.
For me, there's a
there was like you were supposed to have listened. Like everything of that moment relied on you being fully honed in, and you fogged out. How does that actually feel?
Okay, for me personally, if someone's like at work and they're talking away and they're going, "You got to go do this, you got to go do that," blah blah blah. And then I'll think to myself, like, I'll be nodding, and then slowly drift out. And then when it comes to the end, and I go, right, let's go. And then I get like a panic, and then I also think, you fucking like Homer, like, oh yeah. And then it also like the social anxiety kicks in because you think, like, I'm gonna look like such a weirdo if I
ask. You got to go and ask him again.
Like, yeah,
what is it I've got to do again?
Isn't it weird when they clap you back in? Like, but at the end, because it kind of like that shakes you out. Like, I know it's supposed to be like it's supposed to clap you into gear, but they don't clap you at the start when they're giving this speech, which should get you
engage
all in. Instead, it's almost like a snap out of whatever reality, and you're
it's never like, and that's the thing that I'd like to people to know, that it's never anything rude. You know, like if it does come across rude, and I feel rude, and that's part of the like fucking dough, like that feeling, like
how much, but also like, you know, when you do have like, it's not fog, but it's like autopilot, right? How much of that autopilot do you think is like actually like vital for your like mental recovery? Because if you know, sometimes you've been so mentally stimulated, you've been so engaged in it for so long, you're like, I need a break. And now you need a break, but you're around people that like don't expect you to be taking a break. Like, you're with your friends now, your family now, you've had a hard day at work, you've been tuned in, and now you're with the people that you love the most, that you actually want to be tuned in for, but you're autopiloting.
That's a big problem.
That for me is worse than autopiloting at work. I understand, like, I'm financially like need to make sure I'm tuned in at work, but when you are getting that fog, when you're like with your friends and family, dude, it's like heartbreaking because they're like at some point like
It's not present.
and their patience is gone with you because it might be something so important to them, and then you're like, I'm in the doghouse purely because I needed a mental break because of how hard the day's been.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a hard day, it's just a day that
Drained you.
if you were a free man with all of the rich and wonders of the world, like
would you spend your day doing it?
how would your Wednesday afternoon have truly been that day, you know? And some of those days they really do like stack up on you, right? And you're like, oh god, I just need 10 minutes of sunshine and like a coffee. And then like it's just horrible, man. But it's like that's the constant grind at the moment, you know.
Just get locked into that drone mindset. You know, you just, your eyes glaze over, and you're just you're just moving.
Yeah, but you need to then find those things that break you out of that, right? And for me, it's like it is just rigorous exercise. You know,
definitely.
it just shakes it all off. Like you try doing a like we try doing the cold bath, the cold shower, the go to the gym and go for a walk the dog, all that kind of stuff. Go for a beer with your mates, but there's nothing that fully resets the modem,
Swishes all the blood around. Just like basically just tips you upside down.
Something has to be said where only the task matters, and the task, while it will require your mental like acuity to be tuned into, it is all purely done from brain sending messages through the body. This is the general, the body's the troops, and the general is telling the troops, you got to move this way to succeed in this task, whether it's lifting a weight, whether it's running 10 miles, or whether it's going into some kind of martial art, grappling, striking, any sport. But like there's something to be said when you're just relinquishing and just like you're like a phoenix rising from like the ashes of like your burnt day. You know what I mean?
You know that really hitting that like a sprint feeling. You know that really like put like redlining yourself. You know,
well, you're giving your body something to do, aren't you? Because when you're sitting there in front of a computer all day, and your body's not moving, all the atrophy's kicking
docile,
in, and then suddenly you start working out. Your body's instincts are going to start kicking in. All the autonomous functions are going to start kicking in, and then you just start waking up. Then the body and mind comes together, and then you're switched on.
One of my favorite moments like is when like I'm training and I'm doing like some strength and conditioning. I've got a hoodie on and I've just like paused. I'm not trying to gas myself because I'm trying to get my strength up. So I'm trying to lift, but you're just feeling that just sweat just falling off you.
That in between rounds feeling.
Yeah, the in between rounds when you're
right, I'm in the thick of it now.
Where like your cardio, like your breath is recovered. You are no longer thirsty. You have legitimately rested, but your body is just
a good feeling though, I think. It's just like
man,
I don't know what it is.
It's great.
Some
it's like a self-bathing sort of situation. Like you're just like, you just squeeze, you're wringing yourself out like a towel, just of all the toxins and crap of your day, all of the alcohol that you had 2 days ago because you've had a thumping headache all fucking like Monday morning because you had a couple drinks Saturday night. Not a couple drinks, you went way too far Saturday night. Your Sunday was blown out, you didn't talk to anyone. Monday you're still kind of fucked and groggy, but Tuesday you went and did something, and it didn't just like you didn't destroy your body, you didn't blow out your muscles, no, but you got rid of all of the toxins of your sinful weekend. And it just makes you know, like, okay, like earn your sunrise, you know, earn it.
And you think about all the people that don't exercise. I'm not necessarily talking about people that are obese and incredibly out of shape. You know, some people have jobs that keep them, you know, in relatively good shape. But think about the ones that really don't do any exercise and have them kind of days.
You
know, like they're all the bullshit, dealing with the boss, dealing with fucking customers,
emails, customer requests
everywhere. And then you go home and then do nothing. And you don't fucking exercise the demon.
No.
You know, like it's just all pent up pure rage, and it's
on your
that's
phone,
why
just texting all about it, and then the
Exactly.
algorithm's picking that up. So then you go like, right, I'm done texting all my friends what happened today. So then you go onto your social media, and your social media is just filled of this algorithm that's just fed purely based on what you spoke about on your fucking chats, and you just down that rabbit hole of just further and further getting yourself conditioned into this just low, pestilent, depressed form of yourself. This just callous skin, like an emotion to the world, but these like
over.
frail, yeah, man. Oh, it's heartbreaking.
And that's why we're doing this, because we want to encourage people to at least take one step towards fixing your mental health by exercising, doing a martial art,
just bettering yourself overall.
just bettering yourself, taking them small steps. Because what it's done for me is my life would be completely different if I didn't do it, and for the worse as well. I mean, you spoke about being bullied in school. How did martial arts help you
so
with that?
Like, I was always bullied in school. It's just how it goes, you know. Like lads growing up, they're wolves, man. They just want to know who the alpha is and who the pack is and who's the outcast, because not everyone gets to be the wolf, bro, in the pack, right? And yeah, man, like my dad knew from an early age that like I would endure some kind of like racial flack, right? And so he wanted to make sure that I knew how to defend myself, so he enlisted me into karate. And karate is something that he done when he was a younger man, but he only attained like a blue belt or something.
When you say racial, like explain like that.
Well, like I'm half Chinese, you know, so like it was just it weren't a good time for Asians. It's not been a good time for Asians for a while, but I'm not going to go and start banging a drum about that. It was a lot more vulgar and a lot more like horrendous as all kind of Asian minorities and like all kinds of like ethnic minorities have endured whenever they've gone to a new country. It's just how it goes. Like I said, it's just you know, it's just wolves packing out. And there was never a fear of like getting into physical altercations like from bullying when I was younger, but like dad was like for sure that like older like kids would like want to have a pop, because like older kids have always been like just running reckless, right? You've always heard of some group of older kids that have smacked up some like 13-year-old somewhere, you know what I mean?
Some year 11 put some year 7 in.
Yeah, exactly, man. So like I was learning and I hated it, man. Like we would train out of Budworth Hall under like the UKA, the United Karate Association, and my sensei was Ian Cuthbert, but like opposite that was the Cock Tavern. And my dad would like walk me to like this pub. He'd sit outside the pub and I would walk past this pub, cross the zebra crossing into this hall, all in my gi. So I'm already fucking half Chinese. I look really Asian as a kid and I'm walking in a fucking dress past a pub. Are you crazy? And I hated it. I hated it so much. But the bullying.
You didn't like doing it, or you didn't like going there?
It just made me feel like I'm playing into a stereotype that you're already taking the piss out of me for.
Yeah.
You know? Like I used to go to a boxing club and they'd all be like, oh, konnichiwa and all that kind of shit. And I decked him and I followed up because I was used to do karate, and the boxing coach was like, no, this ain't karate. You can't beat people up on the floor. So I didn't go back there. And but the bullying never stopped. And my dad was always like, look, just hit the one that's the mouthiest. But he's talking like that because he comes from that world. But in this world now, if you start getting into fights, they expel you from school, they expunge your academic records, or they stab you. Yeah, it could get worse. And I weren't a kid that wanted to be violent. I wanted to just be left alone. That's all I ever wanted. Like, I didn't want to seek revenge and retaliate against these people that would dare come at me. I just wanted to be left alone. And like it just kept going on. Went through like secondary school. My sister got it as well, and I just kept thinking, like, just fuck this. Just be chill. And then one day I got invited to the Open European Karate competition in 2000, and I think like 2010. I was 16 years old, and my coach, like my sensei Ian, he looked at me, he's like, I think you're ready to come abroad and represent the country. And so I went abroad, and I'm a brown belt at the time, like 3 stripes.
So what's that sort of?
It's one away from black belt. Right. And And I'm going through and I'm looking around and like I'm in this hall just full of black belts from all these different countries with all their national flags, and underneath each national flag was their mats where they're warming up, and I was like, this is fucking insane. And I was in such good shape for that competition as well, because my sensei said, you realize that in this European competition the category for heavyweights is different. You'd be better in it as a light heavyweight. So I dieted down as well. I got out there and I got on the mats and I'm facing up against these like top dudes, like Russians, Portuguese, like Irish team, like you name it. And I was fucking active, bro. Like I was putting people down and came out of it with a European tag team bronze medal.
Sick.
And I came back and my dad picked me up outside a pub and he's like, so where you been? I was like, oh, you know, Hungary. He's like, you hungry? I said, no, Hungary, Dad, like in Győr. So we've been doing there. I pulled out my medal. He's like, oh, I see. And we drove home and he went straight out the pub with the medal. He showed everyone. He thought I went camping. He didn't know I went.
Seriously?
No, he didn't know at all. But anyway, so it's still talking about me getting bullied. So the day it all changed was after this competition. So I'd flown back into the country. And as I've landed, I've got a phone call. And it's from a kid saying, we've got a swimming gala tomorrow. You coming? I'm like, oh yeah, okay,
what?
cool. Like a swimming gala, like a swimming competition in like a high school, right? In secondary school. And so the next day, and I mean, I've been kicked the fuck out of in this competition. My foot's double its size. I've got lumps and chunks missing out of me. And I walked into that swim pool and I'm late as well. And I was still shredded from this competition. I've walked out, and this is at the time where like it was still mixed school years, and it was still like the guys were getting into the gym. I've walked out and I was fucking mustard, bro. Like I look like a gangster, and I'm also like I'm not a bodybuilding body type. I'm a fighter's body type. You know what I mean? Yeah. And my coach, like, the swim coach, looks at me and is like, "What the fuck are you been?" And I was like, "Being, competing in Hungary for the country." So, how'd you get on? I told him, he's like, take your seat, Poulter. You could just feel the eyes of all the guys looking at me, and my PE teacher going up to the other teacher going, you won't believe where Ben Poulter's been. And after that day, it like the bullying kind of stopped for me. Like I guess like word got out. I was more into my fighting after that competition than football. Before that, I kind of felt like I was just not that I was a gimmick brown belt. I never felt that, but I never look at myself with like grateful eyes. I think that I'm smaller than everyone. I think that I'm not a good fighter. I think I'm incredibly weak. I think I've got poor grip strength. I think I'm short. I've got this weird kind of brain.
Underestimating yourself.
Well, I underestimate myself constantly. And then coming to that comp and coming back just made me think that like, you got this. And after that, the bullying kind of stopped. But by that point, like the damage was done to my sister, bless her, and the damage had been done to me. But it took a long time to sort of keep killing that more and more.
Yeah.
But the worst thing that happened was I stopped doing martial arts when I went to uni. And not that I was getting bullied again, but there was fuckery afoot, right? There's tomfoolery amongst older people now trying to fuck with you, like landlords trying to fuck with you, and like roommates that fuck with you, and all this whole different life of adults that are now trying to mess with you. And without martial arts, it didn't go well, like without that discipline and that.
Or did you lose confidence by the fact that you wasn't training?
Yeah, lost confidence in myself because I was still training hard, like doing other like physical pursuits, but it was more just like mentally I was getting dominated. Mentally and emotionally, I was getting dominated by people and what they wanted again. And it's because like I was just like I weren't doing something as intimate as martial arts, where it's not just me putting my mass, my size, my strength, and my skill on you. It's most important I'm putting my will on you. I'm like, you know what I mean? You're showing that you're about it, right? And when you don't do martial arts, you don't understand what it means to have a willpower about you that you're confident in putting on someone.
Well, you mean if you don't try martial arts, you will never find out how much you need to dig to get to that. Like you never know your capabilities or your potential And like you said, lost my train of thought. Someone pick me up.
Oh no! Oh, is it
I've
gone?
The mushrooms.
You
have
would
died
the
off.
mushrooms have died off. You need.
I need more.
You need that second dose, baby.
But no, but like
We're back.
before I started martial arts, I
Mm.
didn't know my potential.
Yeah.
I didn't. I wasn't really. I mean, I loved football. I played football. I was all right. I was, average. But other than that, I didn't really have a lot about me.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a lot of confidence.
Mm.
I mean, what it did for me was because when I'd go out to clubs and things like that,
Yeah.
people being 6'5", but back then I was like a beanpole.
String bean.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm still lanky, but I was really skinny.
Minute.
Right?
Yeah.
And it kind of, I was very self-conscious about it. And people would turn and look at you like, because of how tall I am.
Target.
But I just always had this straight away, this default position. As soon as I walk in a club or anywhere where there's a lot of people, just have this.
Yeah.
Straight away. It's like
That-
this little breath in.
The big the hood behind you, right? Just
Yeah.
like
It's like this little inhale.
neck into your ears. Yeah.
And tense up.
Yeah.
Your shoulders
man.
are up.
Oh.
When I started kickboxing, when I was 18 in 2008,
Mm.
I completely transformed because I went there I just wanted to do good. I just wanted to do as good as I could do.
Yeah.
And I didn't really care. Weren't really had any competition in mind or anything like that. But what I didn't take into consideration was all the other training involved. I just thought that you're going to learn how to fight, but like the push-ups on your fingers, like all like the squats, just like getting in the whole stance while they kick your legs and things like that. I started to pack on muscle, started to get stronger, and I started to think. I didn't think that I just, I was going to walk into a pub now and start, having it with people.
No.
But there was that tension had gone.
On your side, yeah.
That default position I mentioned about, you're walking somewhere and you take that little, like that little inhale, and you're a bit tense and you're a bit,
because that little inhale is like a signal from you that you're ready to fight, even though you don't want to. But you're like, oh, I hope no one fights me, but I'm ready to fight if it goes off. Whereas now you're just like, sup.
Yeah, definitely. And that's where you learn what you're capable of, And I turned out to be, not bad, pretty good.
Well, I think
at one point.
Well, the cool thing you said there was about how, like, you're in a horse stance and they're kicking your legs and they're conditioning you, right? That's different from like you being in like a gym and like lifting weights, right? Because you're having people break you down because they know it builds you into a weapon, not a sculpture, not a statue, not an Adonis piece of art. Weapon, refined, efficient weapon. And having that about you, as opposed to this like kind of, there's a difference between having a physical statement and having what I think martial arts give you, a spiritual statement. You know what I mean? Like if people were to go and like into like the fantasy realm of being like, what is this aura of this person? Guarantee you, mate, that like the auras of martial artists are way more powerful than the auras of like bodybuilders. And that's no disrespect to bodybuilding, but it's just you are confident in your abilities to look like artwork, whereas martial artists are confident and like proud in their ability to save the ones they love, be a protector, and also be a fucking like avenger and a preventer. Like, you know what I mean? Like you are barrier one, and you feel that duty, you feel it,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like when you mentioned about when you came to my point about the horse stance, you don't know when that's going to end. You're not the one deciding when that round ends. If you're lifting weights, no one's there to tell you.
No,
unless you've got like a spotter and they're trying to fucking get you going. But if
but
you're
you
on
know
your
it's
own,
never going past 20.
yeah, you can drop the weights.
Yeah,
and there's no,
no one's going to pick them back up and stick them in your hands. Really,
like there's something about that good old fashioned man-made fleshy armor that you build.
Yeah,
through fucking conditioning and
And-
fighting.
And when you're dropping out, a quick whack to the leg,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh no, we're back mentally alert. We're
Yeah.
back in this. You know what I mean?
Homeostasis.
Yeah. Like even if you're chilling in like a roll in like jujitsu, they like a quick cross face will wake you up.
Yeah.
You're like, no, don't chill out. Yep, keep framing, keep moving.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, man.
What about you, Jim? What did it do for you?
I think I don't know if we spoke about it before when we on the first episode or not, but when I took it up was
Let's do it
during the coronavirus sort of times, like when it was like the first year, I think. And,
Really?
yeah, and I got quite fat. Like I was just ordering and it was the first
It was
time.
a bad time for mental health as well.
Yeah,
Wasn't
it was. Yeah,
Through
definitely.
the floor,
And-
bro.
it?
And do you know what? There was yeah. So I think it was the first lockdown, and I was just ordering Uber Eats all the time. So like, I was on furlough, so I was just basically sitting down all day, couldn't go out, couldn't do nothing.
Getting 8% of your paycheck not to go anywhere.
Mate, that's what I'm saying. Just getting like my whole, like pretty near enough my whole paycheck, like in that way.
30 quid
and
of
then,
takeaways a week.
Yeah, and then beers, loads and
Yeah.
loads of beers.
Yeah, man.
And I'm not a fat person at all, right? But at this point, I actually did get a bit fat to the point where, like, I asked my mum, and even my mum, like, we would never say it usually.
She would never say anything like that.
And my mum was like, "Yeah, you have got a little bit like fat." And then my belly was like starting to show, and I thought, "Oh my fucking!" Like, I just couldn't believe it. And then
yeah.
I started up with Alex, didn't I? Like,
Yeah.
He's like fucking. He's experienced, like proper experience, like I started up with him, and then automatically I just knew like how unfit I was at that point.
Yeah.
Because like we got there and it was quite hot, wasn't it? It was like summer in the gym, wasn't it? And then it was really, really hot.
It wasn't built for a gym. It was like fucking, it was like a greenhouse, literally.
Oh,
it was like a
God.
greenhouse.
Yeah, and like it was like we was doing like the first, like, just when you don't grapple and you don't know how to do it efficiently or whatever, you don't know how hard it is until you've done it like for like 5 sets of like a few minutes or something like that. And then like I'd be sick. That was it. I couldn't even complete the session. So I'd be sick. And afterwards, like I thought to myself, right, I've really got to knuckle down there. And I joined Havering.
Yeah.
And then like I've just not looked back really. Like it's changed like my body. Like my body feels different. Like completely. Like
What made you think that like you've realized that you're out of shape and you decided to go into martial arts as opposed to like go for a run or like get some home weights, because you're so used to getting everything into home? What made you think I'm going out there and I'm calling a friend for martial arts?
Yeah, it was because I wanted to do it, but there was like a night where I sort of was just like, like when we spoke, that was it. We spoke about like Luke's birthday party, and there was some people like Luke's.
So my brother-in-law's friends, my brother-in-law and his friends were wrestling on the bouncy castle, and it just went off, didn't it? It was like a Royal Rumble. We was just watching, and they're all fucking gym boys as well. So they're all like big tanks, fucking taking each other out. And so Josh and his friend were wrestling, weren't they?
And that night I was like, I was thinking about doing something like that anyway, because I was like, I recently got into like more watching like martial arts and stuff like that, and
well, we decided we wanted to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because he came over.
That
after,
was it,
yeah.
Because like,
then he said, "I want to do a martial art." Like, what do I want to? Like, we said, "Well, do jiu-jitsu because that's what it looked like you was doing. We'll go together." And then
and I was just like,
how we started.
I was like, I wanted.
And then he came
for
one session, and then never came back. He's a tank as well, isn't he? But that's
on the timer.
How are we looking?
We're looking at going for the first sort of half now, ending the first half.
All right, well, catch us in
turning
the
left,
next half. So catch ya. Done.
Hey guys, it's Luke here. We hope you're enjoying this episode, and if you want to keep up with us and support our channel, then please hit the follow, like and subscribe buttons. It really does help us a lot. Much love.
Cool, and we're back for part 2. Guys, the UFO shoot downs, Did you see that story that came up at like the start of this week or the end of last week about the UFOs in America?
I heard about it, and normally it's something I would jump on, but I haven't really looked into it. So explain it.
So you know that Chinese spy balloon that was going around, right?
Yeah.
So they got the pictures of the Chinese spy balloon, and then they were umming and ahhing about shooting it down, and then they shot down the Chinese spy balloon. But they had pictures of all the Chinese writing on the side of it.
It
and
landed in the
everything.
ocean, didn't it?
And then they actually salvaged it. Like they've got the pictures of them like, hey, we're the US government. Here's the Chinese spy balloon. We got it, guys. Don't worry. Our airspace is tight.
But apparently
And-
America have had ones floating over theirs as well.
Yep,
haven't they?
exactly.
And
So
they've reached the thing like 10 times.
So this
or
is something
like
they're doing all around the world, right?
Mm.
But to factor this into their airspace from now on, they're thinking they can't just have one balloon. What if they have more in America?
Mm.
So they updated their scanners to pick up things that are now that size. Before they were looking for bigger things, like bigger surveillance, kind of like things in the sky at that altitude at like 40,000 feet.
Planes.
Now they're picking up things that are that size of that balloon.
Mm.
And because they've recalibrated their scanners, they have now been picking up unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, aka what we all knew it is,
They changed
UFOs. They changed the
Yeah.
letter in to throw people off. So when they say UAP, they mean UFO. So there were UFOs going around, and they shot down 3 in 72 hours.
What did they look like?
One
One
of
of
them was
them-
cylindrical, wasn't it?
One of them cylindrical, like an oblong kind of like cylindrical shape. One of them was an orb, and we've been seeing loads about the Mosul orb for years. Like Jeremy Corbell literally released a photo of the Mosul orb from what was it, Iraq 2016. Like during the war, there's a fucking UFO shooting across like a drone camera. And it's like, dude, it's all been verified. It's all been like, declassified. And now they're saying, and then another one was like some kind of triangular shape, and they've shot these 3 things down. They've all said, like, we've confirmed it, we've done it, they're down, they're off. Even one of them was in like Lake Huron, which is close to Canada, and the Canadian Special Forces requested American Air Force support. So Canada have their own fleet, right? They have their own Air Force and Navy and Army, and they still requested American Air Force support for an unidentified aerial phenomenon. They can shoot down a balloon, bro. It ain't hard to shoot down a balloon. They ain't balloons, these things, though. Like, these things are flying, evading, and it took American pilots to get up there and knock them out of the sky. They've all landed in accessible areas, and yet there's been no footage or story of recovery, no confirmation of recovery. They said, "Oh no, we just shot them down. We ain't salvaged nothing." And you're like, and you picked up the spy balloon, a destroyed balloon, and you can't pick up a fucking a spaceship that you shot down. No trail of the debris from
They
the
reckon
damage
that the balloon was over an airbase, wasn't it? Over an
in
airbase.
Washington or something like that.
And
Yeah.
quite a few places. Different places.
So how did it get out then? If we haven't seen it,
Well,
how's
the
it
balloon.
how's it got out?
How
No,
the
it's about the
stories got out.
UFOs.
Oh.
How's the story got out?
How's it got out? Yeah.
Because they've literally had to lock down areas of land to shoot down these things when they've recognized them. And by this time, like the story or the phenomenon of like, why is our place locking down? Why is our place locking down? Oh, this radar's picked up this. And there has been like, I think that there might be one video of one of them that they've shot down, or one image of something, but the story is out and no one is covering it. Only like Breaking Points, like Crystal and Cigar are covering it. But dude, it is fucking wild.
So there's no
Weird.
pictures, no videos, nothing.
No, but you know what is now in the news, even though it didn't quite get in the news in the start? This Ohio train derailment.
Yeah,
What was
apparently
that
that's got something to do with, like, people think it's got something to do with like voting, like
Yeah, some
You
kind
know,
of
like the-
voting shit, right?
yeah.
So Ohio has had a train derail,
I
right?
see a
And
little
yeah, let me go
headline
and try and get this video up because it is absolutely fucking wild of this what's happened
about it.
here.
I see like a big chemical cloud above the yeah, like it was absolutely enormous. It was just like what video is it, by the way?
I'm trying to find it.
Actually coming off, or
So the train has derailed
is that what
in
actually
Ohio,
caused the chemicals?
and all the chemicals were in this train, and it is just
Whoa, look at
fucking
that.
calamity. Like, here we go. Let's get some volume up on this thing.
Derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. Well, at 9:55 p.m.
Wow,
Mate.
that is bad.
So this train has just, for the people that are only listening, the train has just derailed off this thing, and we're looking at all of these train cars caught on fire, and there's just this huge chemical leak that's going into all of the land, and essentially it's been creating hydrochloric acid that is now in the sky, in the air of Ohio. They're also saying that there's been loads of plant life that's been destroyed from it, and just so much just horror coming from it. It is truly, truly terrible. Let's see if I can try and find any more of it. But yeah,
What was
man.
it?
Hydrochloric acid. Yeah.
Shit.
Utterly vile what is going on. I think, hold on, let me go here and see if we got anything. No, we tried. But yeah, man, it is absolutely crazy what is going on down there. And it's the only things that these things have in common: Ohio, Michigan, and Arizona. This has all happened this week. A bunch of like vans and trains have been derailed.
They reckon that someone's good. Like they reckon they're going to do that over something that's going to spark a debate. That's going to sort of.
Well, it's because like these states are 50-50 states. They're swing states, right? They can go. They can either vote left or vote right, vote Democratic or vote Republican. By invoking an environmental disaster, you call upon the government to help you out. If the government helps you out, then you're going to be like, oh, thank you, government, and you're going to vote them back in because they helped you in this time of crisis. If they're ignoring you, then you're like, motherfucker, like I am not voting for you bastards.
Little headline about it today, so it's just like.
So what are we saying? Are they exploiting it, or are they? Or are we saying?
Or is it just accidents and fuckery?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm on the bank of there's also information that there's obviously regulations when it comes to transporting such kind of like chemicals and stuff. And
how many people died?
They haven't said how many people have died from this yet because they've been evacuating the places where it's happened.
What about the driver?
They'd have to have like licensed drivers with certain trains with like all sorts of protection.
And they've been jumping through those loopholes apparently, and it is just utterly horrifying. Like, we'll try and stitch some photos onto this to go and like show just how bad it is. But I mean, it is truly, truly horrifying, and nothing's been said about that in the news. And so you just constantly have any calamities happening around the world. Meanwhile, we have to be forced to watch the likes of fucking Sam Smith doing like a devil song and then wrapping himself up like a piece of fucking gammon, wearing like red satin tooth floss. And then after that he becomes a fucking Chinese spy balloon. Like, and you're like, what the fuck is going on, bro? Like, it's insanity. Why do we have to watch this spectacle when there's actual disaster happening and there's really life-changing kind of news, right? Like, we kind of brushed over the UFO thing, but I'm gonna fucking bring it back because these things are important, right? Either these UFOs are they're earthbound. They're a country that's doing this to America, but they're unlike any other country in the world. How many countries can you name? Russia and China. Right. Well, Russia's got a fucking war going on with Ukraine right now. So I think they're a bit too busy to fuck around with America, right? So is it China? Cool. What's the best China's got? China's got a fucking balloon. So what the fuck are these things? And what? And it's not a matter of what are these things like. Just what's in there? What does it look like? Like, what's the intention of this aircraft? What's the intention of this object being here, monitoring us, and then fleeing our attempts to contact it? Granted, the attempts to contact it have been military in design, but what about their attempt to make any kind of like visual public interaction with the top species of this planet? Right, the top most conscious and sentient species of this planet, and you guys are just watching us in the sky, undetectable. And whenever we detect you, like, it's because we're just like, what the fuck are you? Like, why don't you come say hello? Why don't you come say something? What is your purpose here? What is the purpose, bruv?
I find it more peculiar that they have been found and shot down, because surely we know China are smarter than that to blatantly have a balloon that they would know would be detected in American airspace. Could it be a false flag?
That's a great point. There's a general in the American military that has literally said that they envision a war with China by 2025. We're in 2023. We're at the 1 year anniversary of the war with Ukraine, World War III, and we're now it's now literally about to get like an F at the start of the WW because it is fucking World War III when it gets to 2025 and it's with China as well. We are so fucked if this is true. So is it a false flag to get us into the war because everyone said they knew Pearl Harbor was coming? Right, that's a fucking theory about the Second World War. They knew Pearl Harbor was coming, but why did they let Pearl Harbor happen? Because they had to get the call to arms to get into war, which signed off the military contracts.
What was the thing that they the law that they made so that they could do that? You know, like when you do an attack on your own country to spark off like a what was the thing called?
I don't know what the actual law is called, but I mean it's domestic terrorism, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean I can't remember. There's a whole other thing about that. Like it is crazy.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people think 9/11 was and stuff like that. Do you know what I
Another
mean?
one. I mean, you know, that's another couple letters strung together that you're not supposed to say in succession, otherwise people start looking at you funny.
Yeah.
If you say 9/11 is an inside job, people start getting like real twitchy about you. But the thing is, you don't just say 9/11 is an inside job, meaning like, oh yeah, the American architects went in under government provision to go and change all the pillars into paper mache. I'm not fucking saying that, bruv. I'm saying that this was an intellectual plan strategy that was thought out for the benefit of the richest people in the world at the expense of the poorest people in the world, and we're good to fucking go. Like, if you look at the economic wealth of like these countries like Afghanistan, they pale in comparison. Like the entire wealth of like Afghanistan could literally amount to maybe 3% of American wealth, right? So at the expense of all those people, and then the most, you know, like economically vulnerable or like people that we can get to sign up to the military, expense of them as well, put them through a fucking war. Like, I'm not dogging the armed forces, man. Like that is some hardcore shit, and you guys are defenders of the realm. But when there are fucking forces at work that are forcing you into wars that you know how horrible war is when you've seen one of your brothers in arms and anyone's seen any loved one that's been lost to a war, it's fucking terrifying and it sucks shit. If you find out this is for some fucking shenanigans where a bunch of guys at the top of the pyramid are just fucking rolling dice at the bottom of the pyramid and just making a war so they can get profitable, fuck you, bro. Fuck you.
In the nicest way possible. You just hope it's true, like the main story narrative. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
In the nicest way possible. But like, it's fucked up. Like, I was only like 6 when 9/11 happened, and I still remember it because of how mad it was. Like, do you remember when like getting home and Dad was like showing us on the news?
Yeah.
And we were just coming home from school, and
first day of secondary school.
Yeah, and I was in like year 3 or whatever, or year 2 or whatever, year 1 maybe.
Yeah.
But it was fucking crazy. And I still remember it.
No, man. That's the problem when there is this just like insane wealth that are possessed by the few, because they're used to, okay, so I found this out on from Carl Kalinske on the Joe Rogan podcast. He's a political commentator. He works with Crystal and Cigar and Breaking Points. It's a really good show. Carl Kalinske had like essentially found out that like from the Oxfam numbers, the top 26 richest people in the world have more economic wealth than the lowest 50% of the planet in the world. 26 individuals have more than half of the planet combined.
What the fuck?
26. I know 26 people, bro. That is madness, geez.
We will never ever know who these people are.
You don't know who those people are. 100% you don't know, unless like one of them is like Elon and stuff. But I reckon there's some dark arts people that they never stick on that list.
Well, I reckon a lot of them are like royalty and Arab royalty.
Got to be right, that oil money, baby.
Some of them just like they like rightly so. They like if it's their money, like it's theirs. Do you know what I mean?
But they were saying, here's how it happened, right? How the marriage between corporations and politics happened. There used to be a law back in the day from an old president that was essentially saying that you were basically taxed on your wealth, right? And also that corporations are barred from investing in political campaigns. But later on, through loopholes and witchery and magicry, they essentially managed to say that prohibiting a corporation from trusting a political party was essentially a breach on freedom of speech, so a constitutional right loophole. And that's how they got in. And somehow, none of them saw how this would be too corrupt, but maybe these guys were already paid off at that point. But that's how politics and money through corporations became synonymous, lobbying and all that stuff. Because you look at the fucking numbers these cunts pump out. Like Google will, put in 250 grand for a candidate running to be president, but then put like 6 million into their trust fund. Well, not trust fund, but you know what I mean, the trust, the charities, the shit. And you're like, oh, I get it. The Melinda Gates Foundation. Like, oh, you fucking smimey fucking bastards. Oh, the WEF, yeah, World Economic Forum. Cool. Google, Facebook. You fucking name it, bruv. Oh, no. And they all get paid. Nancy Pelosi and Paul Pelosi, they have they've managed to increase their wealth $150 million in the space of 6 years. Her job is to manage federal and financial regulation as the Speaker of the House. And he is an investor. And you tell me they don't fucking cuddle up and have a conversation after they've done eating children for adrenochrome. Know what I mean?
She was doing all the inside trading.
All the inside trading, or just quick sweet nothings to her husband. He invests a bunch in like Tesla, and then the following day, California come out with all of your cars will be electric by 2030, and Tesla sales skyrocket, and Elon Musk gets another 9 billion richer. It's fucking crazy, bruv.
Elon Musk, one time, I think it was in a day, earned like 100 billion or something like that. His wealth like doubled like in one day, and then he lost not long ago like a load of like
he's just jumped up 9 billion.
Yeah, and his wealth just jumps all over the place all the time.
But that's what happens when you're investing in these these bookie arts, right? Like he's in SpaceX, he's in motor vehicles, he's in robotics, and he's in currency as well. Like electric currency, right? Like digital currency. That's you have to. The only way that value is attributed to something is if people actually put a value into it, right? So when you're trading on digital currency, if you were to tell me you got a Bitcoin, I'd be like, oh, so you're balling, are you, Jim? And you'd be like, you'd feel like you're balling, but you're not. It's just a statement. I've got a Bitcoin. Yeah, you actually ain't done nothing with that one Bitcoin. You can't afford anything for one Bitcoin, otherwise you lose a Bitcoin because nothing's worth one Bitcoin. So it's never going to gain traction because people want their fucking money. People want their cash. People want it to just be at the card at the moment, but they don't want it to just be a digital currency.
Have you ever heard about that guy who bought a pizza with Bitcoins back in the day, like when it first come about? And I think it was the first ever transaction, and he bought it for like loads of Bitcoins. Like, I can't remember how many, but it was the most expensive pizza, basically. Let's put it that way. Of all time.
Yeah, it was like 10,000 Bitcoin or something like that.
So how much would that be now? That's like fucking. That'd be millions. It'd be surely.
But they're now saying that the whole like Bitcoin, if you invested in the start, you'd earn a lot of money. But if you invest in now, like chances are you're going to lose money. Chances are the value's kind of gone off it. If you've made it rich now, it's because you sold it and got in at the bottom, right?
It's been creeping back up recently, Bitcoin. But I think everyone are questioning now.
It's never going to make the skyrocket.
What's the longevity of cryptocurrency now? Because it's very torn because there's a lot of companies now and there's a lot of shops as well that accept cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that
Tesla used to take Bitcoin, didn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
That's
But
weird. But
I
I
don't
think
know.
they stopped that.
Huh?
But I think they ended up stopping taking Bitcoin for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, because it is being, I think it got demonized for a little while. I mean, I had trouble investing because my bank blocked it.
Oh, they do. Your bank didn't let you go and actually get into the.
They
Bitcoin,
claimed
no?
that they didn't, but it was on their end that it was stopping. So
Nah, man. Look, these banks are fucking scandals. The JP Morgan thing. So I'm gonna fucking jump off this crypto shit now. Have you heard about this JP Morgan fella? This Stanley. He was the head of JP Morgan, and he was like sharing emails with Jeffrey Epstein.
go on.
Bro, so they've now like released a bunch of emails between Jeffrey Epstein and this head of JP Morgan, and it's like from 2010. And I don't know if it's been unclassified through the Freedom of Information Act. I don't know if it's just been released. I don't know how they've been leaked. But essentially, they're talking and they're discussing the JP Morgan's weekend away at Pedo Island with Jeffrey Epstein. And obviously, when you've done something like that and you understand how the world works with people monitoring and tracking your shit, because those people are also on the island, you never say, I had a lovely time banging an underage girl on Pedo Island. Instead, you'll talk in code. And the code that these guys were using were Disney codes, as in Disney characters. So, like, I think it was some. Let me try and find this video, man, because this is just.
Sounds
That
like
stuff runs so deep.
All right,
Sounds
we
very
got this.
Pizzagate to me.
I got this. Let's go.
Disney code the Disney code has been released in the Jeffrey Epstein emails. New leaked emails between Jeffrey Epstein and a top exec who's involved with JP Morgan have been released. This is some of the most disgusting stuff I've ever seen in my life. They're obviously using code words. You tell me what this means. In July 2010, Staley sent an email to Epstein saying, maybe they're tracking you. That was fun.
Wow.
Say hi to Snow White.
Oh,
Epstein
I
responded,
reckon. But do you reckon that's Ghislaine?
would you like next?
they're saying, what character would you like next? Hold on.
Answered, Beauty and the Beast.
He wants two of them next time.
Epstein responded,
Fucking hell.
well, one side is available. They're very obviously talking in code here.
Think about all the
That's
people that go missing
I think we don't need
in the world, right?
Yeah.
And how do you know where they are? These people ain't accounted for.
It's terrifying.
But think
how
like-
people go missing every day.
Not like surely not everyone who goes missing ends up dead, and then like you don't know, man. Like God forbid.
Nah,
but,
It's
like,
like
Take a movie, innit? Like Liam Neeson shit.
yeah, oh god,
That is
just horrible.
terrifying. That is so terrifying.
Did you ever see that documentary about Madeleine McCann? It came out a couple of years ago now. I think on the anniversary. Yeah, it might have been on Netflix. But at the time that she went missing, there was a local boy who went missing as well. Like
Seriously,
a Portuguese boy. And he didn't get any media coverage at all. And not that Madeleine McCann shouldn't have got coverage, but they both should have.
yeah.
But there was no outcry for this
literally
boy
near the
whatsoever.
same time, like in the
Near
same.
the same time, and near where she went missing. I
That's
think
like a big thing, isn't it? Like part of like the
yeah,
case. Like surely, if you think like a couple have gone missing,
maybe if it was if it was near where she went missing, but
Right.
they had to search. They had to go. I think they must have gone on the dark web, like the police, and they had to search all these different websites of like trafficking children and all that.
Oh,
And they found the boy on there. And
oh yeah, that was
They
in
found
the
the boy?
documentary.
they
No, that
found
was
the
in
boy
the
on there, but they
thing,
didn't
wasn't
find him. He was gone. Like once you're on there, you can't get him. There's no way you can.
that one kind of made them look bad as well. There was or was it a different one? The Jerry and Kate McCann. Was it that
That's
one
the
that made them
parents,
look
innit?
bad, or was there another
I
one?
can't remember.
right. Come on, then. No, let's get down to brass taxes. Is she alive?
No,
No.
Yeah.
can't imagine. I don't know.
They found
They reckon
blood,
they
didn't
found
they,
the
innit?
guy, didn't they?
Yeah, that's some Dutch fella, right?
German guy, I think, but he's I don't know. You just don't know if they're just pinning it on him just to end the investigation. But
They were steering towards the parents for ages as well. So
Yeah.
many people thought it was the parents.
Weird.
Now,
Yeah,
I
but
don't know what's the cause of like
they
that.
had a
but
rental car and they had dogs come over from the UK, right? I can't remember
Yeah.
what sort of dogs these were, but they're like 99% accurate in all like sort of like sniffing out like sort of dead bodies and blood
Yeah.
and whatever. And they've gone to the rental car that the McCanns had and they'd taken them to the boot and they like sort of gave the signal for cadaver or whatever it's called, you know, like body
Yeah.
like or and also they washed her teddy that she always carried, which would have had DNA. You know, like, they washed her teddy.
Oh no!
and there was like, so why is there blood in your boot of your rental car? Why have you washed the teddy that would have had DNA? All this sort of shit.
Oh
It just-
God! Fuck that!
but it just doesn't look good. Do you know what I
No,
mean?
mate. That's
It
as
doesn't
dumb
look
as
good.
they come. Oh God!
It's yeah, it's just.
I
can't
mean,
remember
even
about
if you
that.
wanted to play devil's advocate and be like, yeah, that was blood washed out from a previous trip. It was a rental car after all.
Yeah.
But
Odd though that it
the
does-
teddy bear, that's
And these
I'm not a
dogs, they-
parent, but I know that if my parents ever wash my fucking thing, I'd be like, the fuck? Like, I get it's nice and clean, but like, come on, that's a kid's night toy, man. Like, you don't. Kids are
but
so
no,
impressionable back then. They want their comfort.
I think it was after she'd gone missing. She'd washed it.
Oh, God.
That's definitely raising flags.
Well, also, like, if you'd want your daughter found, like, chances are she was probably holding her teddy when this shit happened. She's like, what the
Oh,
fuck?
Maybe, who
And then
knows,
that
man?
guy would have gone and grabbed it and pulled
Mm.
the teddy and thrown it away from her. There would have been DNA on that fucking teddy, man. There would have been DNA somewhere. But just fuck that, man. It's
They
a
found
child,
a German guy that's
bruv.
already in prison, didn't they? That
That's
they
what-
had
yeah.
a suspect. As the suspect.
Man, this shit gets my anxiety going now. Now I've got
Yeah.
a child.
Yeah.
Oh, at the
But,
heart.
but no
Got
one
girls,
would do
well,
Like
what.
you in
yeah.
scary films, man.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, but no one would do what they did. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't leave your baby in.
They were getting pissed, weren't they?
Yeah.
On holiday, but like, still.
Doesn't
that's
matter
not-
whether
not a
you're
good move.
over where, like 100 meters or whatever. That's still far. That's
No,
still
mate.
far. Like to leave your kids in a room.
You don't.
These people, these predators, they're opportunists. So
They'll,
when they see an opportunity, they take it. They've got like a deep fucking lust that they can't control, and they will do it. And
Mm.
you've got to keep your kids close
They
at all times.
they were in a fucking another country as well. It just doubles down on it. Like you're not to
Yeah.
say like obviously that anyone's any like
No, but
the only
yeah, when you're in
countries
another
are sp-
country,
yeah.
it's harder
Yeah.
to.
Do you know what I mean?
Don't
Like, you're
speak the
just gonna-
language, so
yeah.
it's finding them is going to be harder.
But dude, that's why it just makes it when you see like that's like we've now compared like the disappearance of like Madeleine McCann to like this Epstein stuff, right? Like, dude, what that's the echelon of like the leagues of trafficking, right? And that Epstein stuff is top. The guy had an island. Like, come on.
It's like a film, isn't it?
He had
It's
an
like-
island for
it's
oh,
like a film where
bro.
like a evil lair.
Dude, you wouldn't even be able to afford a shed if you wanted to go and strap something in there. You know what I'm saying? You
Sheds
don't
are
have room for
expensive.
you don't have room for a sex swing, let alone a fucking island made for fucking diddling, bro. Like, come on, the wealth this guy had. He was having shit on everybody. And let's say that Disney Code was, oh, you're going to tell me that we're out of time and about to
Well,
get deep onto the pedo
well,
shit.
we'll have to come back to that in the next part. or
Right,
something.
cool. Tune in for my next rant on pedos and Epstein.
Hey guys, it's Ben here. We hope you're enjoying this episode, and if you want to keep up with us and support our channel, then please hit the follow, like and subscribe buttons. It really does help us out a lot. Much love.
Right, we're back on.
We're back on.
We're back on.
I don't know how this is going to sound. But you know, fuck it. If I'm going to get us in trouble, I'll get us in trouble properly. Right? So this Epstein shit, yeah. Right. So if they're talking in Disney code, right, because it's like Snow White and Beauty and the Beast, what if it's actually a whole bunch of children acquired by Disney? and this is the Disney brand.
Oh man.
What about when they start talking about fucking Nike characters? What if they start talking about Looney Tunes characters? That means Warner Brothers, right? Like what? Oh, just how deep does this go, bro? How deep does this go? Because that's a lot of characters that you're talking about. And how does this character list get out to people? Is it a fucking menu? You know what I mean? Like, is it this fucking like
Yeah, they had a
menu with
in the
embossed
Pizzagate
writing?
thing, didn't they?
What?
Remember the menu in the Pizzagate thing?
Oh no, yeah. What was that Pizzagate menu?
It was like
Well, they were
fucking-
found in the Hillary Clinton,
Right.
Obama emails.
So glad she was almost going to be our president. Whoop-de-doo, women. Like, come the fuck on, man. You can do better than a witch. You know what I mean?
I know, but it's who you know in that.
So
world,
what
innit?
was she saying in that email? He was like, it was like girls were like pizzas or tacos or something, and guys
Yeah,
were like hot
something-
dogs.
Yeah, hot dogs, I think, were male prostitutes. Obama wanted loads of them. He loved hot dogs.
Loves hot dogs, yeah.
Yeah. So the story is really, if you go by that, is that he spent, I think, I don't know how many thousands of dollars on
$100,000 or some shit like that.
on hot dogs.
Or 10.
So that's basically saying he orders in boxes by the thousands of hot dogs in the White House.
Yeah.
Is that real?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I don't think I've ever seen in my entire life a fucking American like agent with a hot dog. I don't think I've ever seen anyone in the White House grounds ever with a fucking piece of paper and some grease coming through from a hot dog.
For all Americans.
Yeah.
They're having a glizzy.
No, bruv. Like, come
How
on,
often
man.
is he having one? You know what I mean? Like a hot dog at that rate. You know
Well,
what I mean?
there's
Or
all-
how many of them are just like
there's-
thousands of them?
There's
Just
all
all
that talk of
having a hot dog.
Michelle Obama being
Did you better bring this up?
transsexual.
Yeah, bro. I've heard this too. I don't get that, man. I've not like looked into it, but like I'm sure if I did, there'd be some compelling evidence out there. But there was that, like, I think it was like Joan Rivers or something.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember that.
she had an interview, a video. It's not even an interview. It's her literally someone like on those like entertainment cameras are like following her, and what's it? She's like, "Look, everyone knows Michelle's a man. It's okay." And then before you know,
there's been talks of that for years, isn't there?
and she's like, she copped it not far after that. Was she old or was she, suicided? Because dude, this is my favorite one about the Clintons, right? How that they have the highest amount of suicided people in their company than any other company in the world. They've had 37 of their active staff have committed suicide.
Oh my god!
Imagine, and not like commit suicide. I mean suicided, as in like the way Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, I've
Right.
actually heard something about this before. As it goes.
Dude, the most recent one was one of their
Crazy.
guys who had literally been the guy that would allow Epstein to walk into the Clinton household, right? He had at least approved this 5 times. So he'd seen Epstein 5 times in such a capacity that he sees Epstein. There's not many people that get to go and allow Epstein through into the Clintons' house based on these charges, right? He's one of them in the inner circle. And he was found like 5 miles from his house, hanging from a tree with shotgun wounds to his chest.
How did that happen?
Dude, so what? You're standing up on your stool and you've done your fucking cable or your tie, and you got it all around your neck, and like, just to be sure this works, you get the shotgun and patung right through into your chest cavity, and you just hang there from like, what the fuck kind of, like, that is wild.
And who was
bro.
found in this state again?
This was like the guy that would allow Epstein into the Clinton house.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, bro. That
What
is
kind of
bookie.
witchcraft are they
Have
doing
you
in
seen-
that company?
Dude, have you seen
It's
what
fucking-
Epstein's cellmate looked like?
Yeah, like a big fucking.
Oh, bruv.
like a
Jim,
Street
fill
Fighter
him in. I'm going to
character.
find this motherfucker.
This guy
is
looked like a
insane.
fucking huge, like Italian American, if I remember rightly. Like he looked fucking
Yeah,
He
mate.
looked-
So Epstein had a cellmate before, like
He looked like
his
a fucking Street Fighter character for real. Like he was huge. Like,
Where is it? Look at this motherfucker, bro.
Oh yeah.
This was Epstein's cellmate. Dude, that looks like if Vin Diesel actually managed to use The Rock as a condom to fuck Brock Lesnar, right? That
Wow.
is ridiculous. And he was in prison because he was a police officer that was involved in a drug homicide. Essentially, meaning he was a dirty cop that had like killed a bunch of people.
The cop on roids, mate. He's
And
jacked, isn't he?
mate, look at so and they were saying that the guy that done the autopsy of Epstein, right? He was saying that he'd done a bunch of FBI autopsies and stuff. He was saying that the wounds of the wounds of hanging on Epstein do not coincide with typical means. In fact, it very, very like closely matches, almost impeccably matches. Basically, it fucking matches the wounds of being strangled, bro. And if I was gonna ask someone to strangle someone for me, I'd choose that guy.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Right? My Benjamins are on this fella right here to pop a motherfucker's head off. Yeah. And you're gonna tell me that a guy like that gets a good night's sleep? Look at the size of him.
So what happened to this guy then?
Bro, he's still in prison, isn't he? But he was so on the night that Epstein was murdered. This guy is sleeping, apparently, getting a good night's sleep. The cameras are turned off, and the security guards
all the
were
cameras
asleep.
were off for some
Yeah.
reason on a billionaire fucking
On a
geezer,
billionaire
like-
guy who was always put on suicide watch because apparently he tried to suicide himself before when he was caught the first time, when they thought it was going to fuck him out the first time. So, bruv, like, this is just ridiculous. It is so ridiculous that we've just allowed this to just blow away like just a silent fart, bruv. Like,
Did you
it's
see
just
Prince
oh.
Andrew meeting up with him in Central Park in New York?
This is years after he's been
Right.
convicted of being a paedophile before, like, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
he got done about it with it before.
so he knew. He must have known.
He was no Prince Andrew.
Oh, I typed in Prince Charles. We're sorry.
Defame our king.
RAF just coming at you. This guy, yeah, man, Prince Andrew. I mean, the worst train wreck of an interview. They're tied for first, and they're tied for first place. These guys, when it comes to bad interviews, and it is Prince Andrew having an interview with the woman in Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
And then it is Anthony Joshua after he lost to Usyk. That was one of the worst post-fight interviews I have ever seen. That was a train wreck, geez. Like, oh my God, he just completely lost his marbles, geez. It was just so insanity. He just lost all of his shit after.
What do you reckon? What's next for Joshua?
Joshua, I think next for Joshua has got to be Wilder, man. But I think they're trying to make it be Anthony Ruiz to go and fight Wilder. But I mean, I don't know, bro. I'm a fan of Joshua and Wilder, but is Joshua going to fight again?
Yeah, he'll definitely fight again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But
he's no longer in any kind of compelling argument. I mean, you lost to Usyk twice. The only way you can ever make Joshua fight Fury is if Fury loses to Usyk. But otherwise, why would Fury ever
So
go
that's
below his
3
station?
losses on his record now, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, to Ruiz and then
Yeah.
Usyk twice. And now that Tyson's got all the belts right, and he's just got to unify it via Usyk. So that essentially means like Joshua would have to fight Usyk again to prove that he's the title contender.
yeah,
And he ain't gonna
he's
get
got some work
past that.
to do. He's definitely got some work to do. But
Long road.
We can't brush him off.
Yeah, I
He's
think he's
still
a
a
lot
killer.
better than people say. You know,
Yeah.
like there's a lot
Yeah,
of people,
people
say,
just
like,
hating on
Joshua this,
that.
Joshua. I think he's a lot better than.
And
People say.
like he's he had to learn a lot more about boxing when he lost to Ruiz,
Yeah.
because in his second fight against him, it wasn't a dominant one, and there was a bit of controversy surrounding it, I think.
Well, the
But-
controversy was that fucking Andy Ruiz ballooned up to a damn whale, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he did put on some extra weight, didn't he?
Dude, he ate
But-
all the burritos.
Yeah,
Joshua played the game of boxing. It wasn't a fight,
Yeah.
and you know,
And then he
Did you
packed it
feel
back on
like-
for Usyk.
yeah. But I think Usyk was he's too technical. I think
Masterclass.
he's kind of like a small fury.
I'd like
isn't
to
he?
see how
Mm.
big he is in person, because how he spans
Usyk.
across all these different weight classes is weird. Isn't it?
Must be like 5'10", right?
What,
going-
Usyk?
He's got to be
Usyk.
taller than that.
No,
I think
he's like 6'2", isn't he? 6'3".
6'2".
it's just small against all
I
the
mean,
giants
Tyson
nowadays, isn't
Fury is literally 6'9", bruv.
it? But Joshua's even massive though. He's about 6 foot, what, like 6, isn't he? Something like
6'6" for Joshua. You must be crazy,
that. I
bro.
reckon so.
Joshua, yeah, I think he's about 6'6".
No way, mate. I'm saying 6'4" max. What we saying here?
6'6".
What does the forever faithful Wikipedia
Yeah,
have to say?
6'6".
6'6",
He's massive.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's a huge geezer. Absolutely
Bruv.
enormous.
Man, that is wild. One of my favorite photos was when they showed like the size difference between normal people to bodybuilders, and then normal people to athletes, athletes to bodybuilders, and then bodybuilders to strongmen. And you were like, holy
Strong men are
shit.
the fucking craziest.
They are
They're the ultimate.
gigantic.
They are unbelievable.
Yeah.
I watched a video the other day of Eddie Hall testing out the strength of various doors with a sledgehammer.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that as well. see
What? Yo, let's try and find that out. Oh my god.
That was
Yeah,
like
go on,
for a
tell us what's
company,
going on.
wasn't it?
What's going on then?
So they go through a range of doors, starting from like your cheapest one, like the plastic PVC doors, and he does it like easy. Then he kind of works his way up through more
That's
expensive
that one there. Look.
reinforced doors.
You have to go to the top one. I
Top
think.
one.
Yeah,
Let's try
yeah.
and get through a bit of it. We've got some adverts, but
But-
yeah.
Then
He's
he
fucking
he ends
powerful,
up
isn't he?
going up against like, like one of those when the building's derelict, they
Mm.
just put those metal doors over them,
Okay.
and he has a battle with one of them.
Cool, man. Let's see if we can get some audio. God, Bennett, he's ginormous. He's just decided he's going to have it.
Damn.
Fucking hell.
This company's doors are fucking strong though, aren't they?
Yeah, man. Mate,
Shit.
he is caving that fucker
This
in.
door's having it.
Go on, Bennett. It's taken him. He's almost 20 seconds
It's
for him to
taken the
smash this
strongest
door
man
in.
in the world a long while to get in this door.
He could have probably just rammed it open, to be fair. 25 seconds. Wow, mate. That is insanity.
TV valuables. That.
He loses in the end to the metal door.
Does
Just-
he?
He dents it. He dents the fuck out of it, but it just don't budge.
Did you see him in 4 have a boxing?
Hathor
Yes.
Bjornsson. Yeah, man. Bjornsson looked good in that, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, he had a few fights, didn't he? And warming up
call it
over the couple of
Titan
years.
weight.
Titan weight.
Titan weight.
That'd be
Dude,
cool if they introduced
so
that.
sick, bro.
Titan
So
weight.
sick. Dude.
They should do
That's
that
the
in
kind of thing
UFC.
that goes on in Japan. Isn't it?
Yeah,
They
yeah, that's
love-
some
they love
rising
putting-
shit.
They love putting who's the
Samurai
Korean
League.
giant? Yeah, fuck. Do you know what I'm talking about? He's like 7'2", I think.
No.
He's a big tall guy. He's just
With the blonde hair, the long
The
blonde hair.
that's- yeah.
And he fought Emelianenko. Bro,
What are you talking about nowadays? Or the
No,
one that,
mate,
all
back
about
then
15
in
years
Pride
ago.
days,
what
bro.
Don Fry? They fought him.
no. There is another guy like that as well.
The
His name is so hard to spell.
Let's see if we can try and find it. Against the
That's
South
it,
Korean
yeah.
monster, yeah.
Wow, look at the
Dude,
fucking
This
size
guy
of this
was
geezer.
giant fucking enormous.
You got to think as well,
Mm,
their strength relative to their size.
yeah.
It's like we must be children to them.
But dude, this was back when they had no weight limit on the heavyweights, which, in my opinion, is the fucking way to go. Why do we have to?
He was massive though as well.
Emelianenko was massive, but why the fuck do our heavyweights these days have to go and cut weight to make a 265-pound limit? It's ridiculous, bruv. Just make more fucking divisions.
What do you think about him not being in the UFC for the prime of his career? Like,
They couldn't make an agreement, could they? I don't know why it was, but it does suck. But the thing was, his record was impeccable anyway. I mean, he lost to Fabricio Verdum, who eventually became UFC heavyweight champion. Like, he didn't lose to him. Look at this armbar. Oh my god.
look at this. He looks like a fucking kid.
He looks, yeah.
And he's a big bloke.
Yeah, you're looking at this Korean monster is fucking ginormous. But Fedor, man, Fedor.
It's good like how much this like range of movement this guy's got for a massive like he ain't exactly like.
But what was weird about
around like Andre the Giant, like
yeah, true lumbering about. Well, what was weird about Fedor is that Fedor was fast, bro. He was rapid, like Cain Velasquez. You know what I mean? Like Cain Velasquez would just come at you with that pressure. It took him down again.
He's Mr. Russia, isn't he? He's like,
dude, he's like Putin's best friend.
is he?
Dude, so Putin made him like the head of MMA in Russia. And this is still whilst he was fighting, all until his resignation, all until his retirement at Bellator. He has been the head of, which was like 2 weeks ago. He's been the head of MMA in Russia, and Putin's his best friend. They go and watch tennis together. And they both know each other from Sambo and judo. Like, that is wild, bruv.
mate.
He's gone for the armbar again. He's going to get it. He's tapped. Oh, my God. Dude. Fedor Emelianenko was just a one-of-a-kind monster, bruv. Absolute demon. But, yeah, man, those old heavyweights, they had no weight restriction. And yet they want to go and put weight restrictions on heavyweights now. Like, Ngannou has to actually, like, cut to 265. Brock Lesnar, Mark Hunt, Stefan Struve. Stefan Struve was ginormous. Did you see a lick of muscle on him? No.
Where do you rate Brock Lesnar, though? In, like, actually, like, for skill?
In terms of, like, if I had a heavyweight Rushmore, it has to go, my heavyweight Rushmore is Emelianenko, Cain Velasquez, Brock Lesnar, and then, my fourth one is Ngannou.
Brock Lesnar's career weren't, like, that long, was it, really? He didn't have
I'd
many
replace
fights.
Lesnar. I'd have the same as you, but replace Lesnar with Stipe.
Stipe Miocic. I
think he's fucking.
He was
the
phenomenal, but I mean, you're looking about his only tough times have gone against the Uber giants in Ngannou, but all of the guys that came from the far beat Ngannou once, but all of the guys that like the previous guys had to fight before all faced the Terminators. Like Brock Lesnar faced Shane Carwin, bro. Shane Carwin was fucking ginormous. Yeah. They were both like two albino gorillas, and he was fucking Brock up. But like this was, I mean, look at this. I'm sorry, we've got to go and put this fight on because Lesnar versus Carwin was something disgusting. And then Junior Dos Santos, when Junior Dos Santos was on the Mexican sauce as well, he came in and he was just pounding the fuck out of Shane Carwin's face, bro. Like, absolutely split his face open, just pure claret. Like, let's go and try and get some.
There was a point when Brock Lesnar was a WWF wrestler, and he looked fucking like he was roids. Like, just like
that is, he was the definition of steroids in many times. Look at the size of Shane Carwin, bro, and he would just absolutely roll down. Look at him, like, but mate, they are ginormous, and they have like canned hams for fists. You know what I mean? But look at like that. That is an era of heavyweights,
was
bro.
just gassed.
Carwin was absolutely gassed. Oh, for sure. And that's the thing. Like Lesnar just had that pedigree of wrestling, and he used to be a fucking legitimate NFL player too. Like, dude. So those kind of attributes in an athlete.
Have you ever heard about an NFL combine before? Your combine.
I've heard of the phrase NFL combine, but what does it include?
It's like basically your stats on like your jump, like your vertical jump, your bench press, all this sort of stuff. And Brock Lesnar's still stands as one of the best. If you look
Does
up
it?
his NFL combine, it's like one of the best of all time.
Damn. They won't be able to find that. That sucks. But no, those NFL players, they are some kind of
Super
mad track
athletes,
athletes. Because I mean, I guess when you're a young athlete, you can get into a wrestling academy and you can do your wrestling in your high school, and then you can also get your like you can find a good martial arts school anywhere and you can develop yourself and be like, I'm gonna be a professional from the age of 14. You can have that kind of vision, right? But if you are part of a college football team in a legitimate college like state, the fucking funding that goes into your training is way beyond any other funding. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they have
Scholarship thing for like football.
whoo,
They
right?
get, like drafted from their universities
Dude,
and
like
things like that.
even
Golden
the college
ticket.
football. College football money is way bigger than college basketball money. Even though basketball is huge, even though NBA is huge, NFL is the top dog money, dollar bill fucking sport in America. And it is fucking enormous. And the people they pump out of it are ginormous. Look at Greg Hardy, although he did get flopped last night at bare knuckle.
Yeah, who is Greg Hardy? You guys were talking about him earlier.
He's a he was in the UFC not long ago, but he lost to Tai Tuivasa, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He did lose to him not long ago, and then I
Yeah.
think but the money's in bare knuckle now, isn't it? You know,
Yeah,
like Mike Perry,
It is in
people-
bare knuckle.
people like that.
Chad Mendes as well. But where is this?
MVP.
But where's this money coming from? I ain't watching it.
I love bare knuckle.
A lot
I
of
think it's
people are,
great.
man.
Right, but when are you
Bare
watching
knuckle
it?
on YouTube?
On YouTube, exactly.
Yeah.
But like, who's allowing it? What states are allowing it?
Mike Perry, yeah, I think
I
he's one
like
of the most
Mike
entertaining
Perry.
fighters.
Yeah.
there is.
I think it sucked that the UFC let him go.
They're
I think
stupid.
it really sucked. And I think it sucked that they couldn't make it back for Francis Ngannou either. If we lose out on Francis Ngannou, John Jones at heavyweight, I will fucking rage, mate.
But do you know what?
Rage.
The one good thing that come out of him getting like let go by the UFC was remember the guy let me bang.
Yeah.
Mike Perry beat him,
Him,
not long ago,
yeah.
in bare knuckle.
I think
it's
our
fun
boy-
to see that.
And our
But-
boy Mike Boswick, who's like one of our like bare knuckle fighters who lives in America, he's a gangster, of a man. Mike
what,
Boswick.
and on
Yeah.
the management.
No. This is a bare knuckle fighter who is just a monster. Mike Brutal Boswick. He fought against that same guy as well, and he won for us. But
Ain't he
Mike
like a
Brutal
veteran?
Boswick is a gangster. Who?
Boswick. Mike Boswick. Ain't he like a veteran? in
I think
MMA?
I've seen this geezer.
I don't know.
With the
I don't know
tattoo,
what
isn't
his past is. I just know he's a rough motherfucker. I mean, tattooed to the
yeah,
gills.
look, he's fighting that
fucking
Julian
gorgeous
Lane
looking,
that's there, isn't he?
and he can throw bombs. Yeah, he's fighting Julian Lane.
Yeah, that's let me bang, isn't it?
Let me bang, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Tough.
He's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
tough geezer, though. He really is.
Oh yeah, but mate, look at this sport, bro. Like the cuts, the blood of a bare knuckle boxing bout is unquestionably. You
Did
never
you watch
thought
MVP
you never thought you'd
and
see it.
Mike Perry? That was a really good
No,
fight.
but Mike Perry banged out.
He beat MVP.
Yeah. Does
MVP
MVP
would look
make it?
cool though, man. He's got a cool boxing style. I think.
Mm.
It's like stands with that weird like taekwondo karate sort of distance and stance.
You see this? Do you see these? This ain't a stadium, bruv. These are all like these aren't like in halls, man. So I don't understand where they're getting their crazy money from for it.
This is an old one though, I think.
Streams, isn't it? It's got to be streams.
Dude,
Yeah, this is
That's
this is
got to
what was-
be, what, 1,000 people in there?
Dude, the UFC let go of both of these girls, and these girls then threw down in the bare knuckle pit. Rachel Ostovich and Paige Van Zandt, bro.
Oh, Paige Van
Yeah.
Zandt.
Bro, this is absolutely wild.
She
Like
loses a lot though, doesn't she?
they lose a lot, but they are
But they
two
go
utter.
for it, though,
They
don't
were
they?
both such beautiful
Paige
women. They
Van
made the
Zandt
ring
is
girls
so
fucking
beautiful.
question it.
But so game for a fight.
Yeah, man, vicious. Like some of the girl fighters that you see are just wild.
Yeah, I
Like,
think the
how they're
UFC
so
have won and
technically
things like that.
proficient. Yeah,
They've got brilliant level of women's fighters.
Fantastic level of women fighting for sure. I mean, like, I hope Rosa Namajunas comes back, man, because the way she lost her last fight was fucking dumb,
I
bruv.
think that even if she doesn't, though, there's loads just coming through now.
There
There's
are
just
loads.
so many.
Yeah.
Like they've actually like fights to look forward to. nowadays.
Like Molly Meatball. We've got Molly Meatball, man, and she is awesome, bruv. Like, I love watching her fight. You know what I mean? She just got that ferocity and that pressure, and she is like to the fucking walls, you know. She will fucking punch your face in everywhere across that fucking octagon, and then she'll elbow you down to the ground and just make you fucking suck it, bruv. Like, she don't give a fuck, and she'll just go like, let's fucking go. She'll push people against cage and just fucking lay them out. Like, she is a well and true fucking bulldog spirit, gangster, game bred fighter, and she's epic, bro. I mean, she came off that loss in America, but I hope she makes it back, and I hope she's fighting soon, because I'm a fucking huge fan of Molly Meatball, bro.
Is she like jiu-jitsu orientated, like Paddy, or
she's more of a striker?
She's more of a striker for sure, because she
she's got
lost
spinning elbows and shit like that
spinning
all
elbows,
the time,
man.
innit?
She had the elbow knockout, and I think she done it twice even.
But she got choked out not long ago. She got was it a Kimura actually?
Kimura. It was you were just hoping that she would just fucking tap, because in a choke you can tap out, but when someone is properly snapping on a joint lock on you, you struggle to find somewhere to tap as well, because you're just in agony, like, oh my goodness. And that was so deep, and I'm just glad that hopefully nothing tore and that Molly's ready to rock and roll, bro. But yeah, man, if I was like, we were talking about if we lost the chance to watch Ngannou and Jones, I'd be fuming, bro. I'm a huge fan of John Jones. I can't wait to see John Jones go and fight Cyril Gane, and I hope that they give Ngannou a way back to the UFC, because we have to see that fight. We have to see John Jones, the king of the heavyweights as well, because he is undeniably the greatest there ever fucking was.
John Jones.
If you put on Rushmore above all time, John Jones is on there.
Yeah.
End of. There is no one to take John Jones's spot on there. He is undeniably on the fucking Rushmore, man.
I think him and Gane, they can carry the heavyweight division. I think they can do it. It's a shame that Ngannou is gone. I don't understand it really, but it's a shame. But you know, hopefully, I mean, it doesn't say that you can't cut back. So, you know, eventually, hopefully, we'll have all three of them. And more.
Right. I think, well, let's call it there then, lads. That's been a good one. So let's go and sign this thing off. Thank you for catching us to the end. Be sure to follow, like, subscribe, do all that wonderful clicking stuff on all our magical links.
Follow the podcast on Spotify.
Jim wants you to follow the podcast, right?
We
We want you to click everything else, but Jim is adamant you got to follow this podcast, or else he's going to come for you and choke you guys out. He's on the way to accomplish fucking game, bred, and ready, baby. So it's been Ben,
Luke,
Jim.
welcome to the Hominid Project. Peace out.